Hi. Before going to video, please subscribe to my channel for more interesting stuff.
For Crying Nightmare Chapter 1, please check the link in description box. Story from r/scared shitless. Episode 2. Posted by u/lord_tron13. Crying Nightmares, Chapter 2, Past Horrors. The ride took 15 minutes this time. How long can this elevator go? How deep are these places? The elevator with a ding and the doors open. I stepped out and examined. It looked an entrance to a carnival, with a sign on top of the gates reading "Welcome to Hell Land." Oh god. Hell Land. I remember the name. My asshole nephew always took me there when I didn't want to go. I still had nightmares of that place. The clowns were the worst part. Thankfully my parents found out about this and he was banned from our family. As soon as I approached the gates, they opened and I stepped in. The place looked more hellish than ever. The night sky was the only thing that seemed normal. There was a carousel in the center, surrounded by food and toy stands. Suddenly the carousel turned on. It started to spin around as cheery circus music played. Then something started to go off. The music started to distort a little as the carousel was going unusually fast. Then it got worse. The music turned demonic and the carousel was spinning so fast, it looked like a tornado. I could swear I saw a glimpse of someone in the carousel. It still went faster and faster until it exploded like in a Michael Bay movie. The force of the explosion knocked me down pretty bad but no bones were harmed. Then someone rose from the crater the explosion made while slowly laughing. It looked like a man in his 30s, wearing a withered ringmaster outfit. He had literally mint green skin, pointy ears and long dark green hair. His eyes were large and cartoon-like, his teeth yellow and shark-like, and his mouth was permanently cut, but the cuts were horrific and were bleeding as well. "Welcome to Hell Land, Emily," the creature said in a both excited and menacing tone. "How did you know my name?" I nervously asked. "It's size, who knows? Maybe it was your nephew? Do you remember him?" "I remember and I still hate him. Now will you give me?" Before I asked him to give me the relic, it interrupts me. "You mean this, love?" As it puts its hand down its throat and grab a large blue gem, similar to the red one I got in the previous place. "Come and get it, bitch," it viciously said in a deep and cruel voice as it teleports, leaving a small purple cloud with confetti. I scoffed. This gremlin was like my nephew, calling me a bitch and forcing me to go after him. That's when I noticed pink and cyan lights ahead of me. I walked to the place. As I got closer, it came to the conclusion that it was a funhouse. Neon lights were everywhere on this building. I opened the door and there was a small cart in front of me. Despite its size, I hopped into it. The doors behind me closed and the cart started moving. It began slowly, taking me to a hallway of creepy portraits. Must admit the artist really did a good job on them. Then the cart goes a little faster when it took me to another hallway, but this time it had clown faces drawn all over the walls with neon markers. Then it got faster when it took me another hallway, but it had exhibits of monsters trapped behind glass. They were hideous and unearthly. The worst part? They were all alive. It started to become a full-on roller coaster as a large iron door opened. I was going loop-de-loop literally inside a fucking funhouse. The ride went on for a good 23 seconds before the cart stopped slowly in front of a wooden door. I didn't puke but I did feel a bit dizzy. I got out of the cart, almost stumbling like a drunk. I regained my consciousness and continued on with my mission. I opened the door and inside looked like an acid trip. The walls were rainbows, the floor was bright pink, and the lights were changing from green to red every second. I went to the left hallway, then to the middle, and then to the left again. There I saw the same creature, holding a chainsaw. It was obviously waiting for me. It started the chainsaw and chased me. I ran to the right hallway. There was a door in the middle so I went inside, but it wasn't a room. No, it was another damn maze. The place looked similar but the walls were white with black lines, the floor was bright blue, and the lights were all orange. Then a speaker came out of nowhere. "That's right. Every door you go into, it's gonna be the same thing, over and over and over," it mockingly said, ending it with a psychotic laugh over the speaker. "Playing games, huh? How could I beat its game?" Then an idea popped up. "Just ignore the doors, it's simple." I went to the right, then to the left, then to the right again, and then to the middle. Of course it was waiting for me again. It started the chainsaw and I ran past it. I heard an angry "hey" while I did just that. Suddenly, a throwing knife went past, almost hitting the back of my head. It landed on the wall. I turned back and it was now holding a bunch of throwing knives. "Think you can cheat?" it aggressively growled at me. It started to throw more knives at me. I was able to dodge them without getting a scratch, but one knife did manage to hit me on my right arm. The thing laughed at me as it grabbed its chainsaw. I tried to pull the knife as it started to run towards me. After a few pulls, I pulled out the knife and threw it at the chainsaw-wielding monster. It was a headshot. The creature dropped dead. Or so I thought. The blue gem rolled out of its pockets. I quickly grabbed it, and when I turned around, the elevator was in front of me. Easy, right? I walked to the elevator but stopped when I heard it groaning and getting up. You. It said in a dying tone. This is why your nephew hates you. It excused. No shit. I mockingly replied to him as I hopped into the elevator. The creature screamed and ran towards me. It was close to the elevator, but I kicked him to the floor. The doors closed. I pressed number 3. I wasn't done yet. The elevator went down for 7 minutes this time. When it stopped and the doors open, I was inside a gloomy cave now. There was water at the end of the rocky land. The only lights were these beautiful and large glowing quartz crystals. I decided to leave the blue gem back in the elevator. Luckily for me, there were a few rocks sticking out of the murky waters. I hopped on the first one without even slipping, then jumped onto another one near me. Before I was about to jump onto the third rock, it looked odd. It looked like 2 rocks stuck together. It was light blue and didn't have the texture of a rock, and they were wet too. I just shrugged it off and jumped on it, but when I landed, my face went deep into the 2 rocks. The rocks felt like skin? Suddenly, I was blasted with a putrid smell along with a familiar sound. If they felt like skin and a smell blasted out of it, that would mean gross. I literally jumped into a pair of butt cheeks and got farted on. This brings back another disturbing memory. There was this fat Korean girl in my class. I can't remember her name, but my classmates nicknamed her Queen Gassy because she is known to rip ass a lot. I was behind her, so I smelt her farts. There was this one time which will haunt my nose forever. I was in the shower with her. When we were done, she slipped and fell, which must have hurt. I wanted to help her out, but I slipped too and my face went right into her ass. Her gas smelled like rotten sushi, while the one I smelled right now was death. I grabbed the 2 cheeks and pulled my head out of there. I coughed and gagged. This smelt worse than the dead bodies in the slaughterhouse. Then an arm grabbed my leg and pulled me underwater. I saw a completely naked, large, and obese woman, with red glowing eyes and long black hair. It was giggling at me as if the fart was meant to happen. Then I saw a few more red eyes. Shit. There was more of them. I kicked it in the eye. It let out a pained scream while covering it with 2 hands. I went up to the surface and swam to the nearest and tallest rock sticking out. Am I glad I was a good swimmer at swimming class? I climbed up and stayed there, but that doesn't mean those fake-ass mermaids would stop. They surrounded the rock I was sitting on and began to shake it. There were at least 12 of them. I had no choice but to jump back into the water. They probably noticed by now, but that doesn't matter. I just need to get that relic and get out of here. I heard more deep grunts and laughter behind me. As I swam more and more, I saw a green glow miles away from me. I was started to lose my breath, but I'm so close. The green gem was stuck in a rock. I kicked it a few times until it eventually broke off. As I grabbed the gem, one of them jumped on me. It was pretty hard, to say the least. I could feel more piling on top of me. They were going to crush me to death. I still had the gem in my arms. I blacked out. If I'm going to die like this, nobody would find out my whereabouts. I wouldn't be writing this right now. Then a miracle happened. I immediately woke up seeing a green flash. I heard shocked screams and those monstrous women were floating. Then I noticed that the gem was glowing even brighter. What happened? I swam back onto the surface and crawled onto the land. I coughed a lot of water and I was nearly out of breath. I quickly ran to the elevator as I noticed that one of them rose from the waters and started running on land towards me. It used its ass to stop the doors from closing. I was dumbfounded at first until it farted loudly for a good 13 seconds. It got its rear out of the elevator, looked back at me and chuckled. It wanted to do that one last time on me. Poor me had to close my nose for the rest of the ride because the elevator didn't have any vents. When the elevator opened at the bedroom, I ran out of there and catch fresh air. The man in bed sniffs and reacts disgustingly. God. Women can be smelly these days. Yeah, especially the naked fatties. I chuckled. I gave the man the 2 relics. When he absorbed the blue one, his skin changed color, from pale into tanned. And when he absorbed the green one, his wrinkles and other elderly features vanished. I see the gem used its power to save your life, he said with a sudden gasp. So while I was being piled by the mermaids, the gem blasted them away? Cool. The man in bed gave me 2 more buttons, 4 and 5. I walked into the elevator, put the buttons in and pressed 4. Just 4 left and I'm getting cis back.
Thanks for watching. Please do like, share, comment and subscribe for more videos.